Hi, and welcome to this week's Healer Within podcast. Thank you for tuning in every Sunday at 7 while folding your laundry, packing lunches, or just hanging out with your dog, soaking in the last little bit of the weekend. This is Amy with Sensorium Hypnosis, your intuitarian coach where intuition leads and transformation follows. Thank you ahead for subscribing to this podcast. You can also find me on YouTube at Amy the Hypnotist Higher Self Expert. Today, we're going to explore the topic of transcending shame by looking through a spiritual lens. Shame, it's a heavy burden, one that can silently shape our romantic partnerships, friendships, life choices, and even our ability to take risks. It is a lingering whisper of unworthiness, a shadow that follows us long after we've stepped into the light. For those on a spiritual journey, managing shame is not just about healing the past. It's about reclaiming the truth of who we are at our core. From a metaphysical standpoint, shame serves as both a teacher and a challenge. It arises when our actions misalign with our higher self, signaling the need for deeper introspection. However, when left unexamined, shame becomes an anchor, tethering us to a version of ourselves that no longer exists. The soul's journey is not about perfection, but evolution. Every mistake, every misstep is an invitation to return to love and truth. Shame, when viewed through the lens of the higher self, is not meant to be a lifelong sentence, but a call toward greater self-awareness. Its purpose is to illuminate areas where healing is needed, so we may rise into alignment with divine wisdom. Shame has a unique way of shaping our ability to connect with others. In romantic partnerships, it can manifest as self-sabotage, fear of vulnerability, or an inability to trust. Friendships may suffer as we isolate ourselves, feeling rejection or judgment. It may even prevent us from taking risks, keeping us small and unseen, afraid that any misstep will confirm our worst fears about ourselves. If we believe ourselves to be fundamentally flawed, we will unconsciously seek experiences that affirm this belief. This is why healing shame is crucial. It's not just about making peace with the past, but liberating the future. The deep metaphysical question, who am I? It's at the heart of shame's resolution. Are we defined by our past, by our worst choices, by the pain we have caused? The answer is no. The soul is eternal. It's a divine essence, untouched by human error. While the ego self may have stumbled, the higher self has always remained whole. True healing begins when we shift our perspective from self-condemnation to self-inquiry. Instead of asking, how can I consider myself good after what I've done? We can ask, what lessons has my soul chosen to learn through this experience? Self-forgiveness doesn't come from denying past harm, but by acknowledging it with compassion. It is through this process that we begin to integrate our shadow, seeing it not as an enemy, but as a misunderstood part of ourselves longing to be seen and healed. While therapy can be a powerful tool, spiritual seekers may find alternative paths to transcend shame. Here's a few ideas. Try realigning the inner dialogue with the higher self. Meditate on your divine nature. Ask this question: what does my higher self see when it looks at me? Listen for the answer beyond judgment. We can take a look at soul contracts and karmic lessons. Consider that every painful experience was chosen for your soul's growth. If shame stems from past harm, seek ways to energetically atone. This can be done through service, prayer, or even deep inner transformation. Radical self-compassion. Speak to yourself as you would a dear friend or a child. If someone you loved made the same mistakes, how would you guide them back to love? Energy releasing rituals. Write a letter to your past self, acknowledging the pain and granting forgiveness. Burn it as a symbolic release. And living a life of integrity. Redemption is not in words, but through actions. Who you choose to be now carries far more weight than who you were back then. For those carrying shame into romantic relationships, the fear of revealing past wounds can be overwhelming. Yet disclosure is not always necessary. Your past does not define your ability to love in the present. Rather than focusing on what must be revealed, focus on who you are becoming. Are you living with integrity now? Are you showing up in this relationship with love, honesty, and authenticity? If so, you owe no one your shame, only your truth. A partner aligned with your higher self will not require a history lesson on your worst moments. They will sense the love and transformation within you now. Trust that the divine has already transmuted your past into wisdom and walk forward in grace. One of the deepest fears associated with shame is the possibility of others rejecting us if they discover our past. It's essential to remember that another person's reaction to your history is a reflection of their own perceptions, not a measure of your worth. Recognize that not everyone is ready to understand. Some people are just not equipped to see beyond a person's past. That is their journey, not yours. Hold boundaries with compassion. You are not obligated to explain yourself or seek validation. Offer grace, but also know when to walk away from those who judge unfairly. Trust that your energy speaks louder than your past. Who you are now is the most powerful testimony. Let your actions, presence, and energy reveal the truth of your growth. And surround yourself with those who see your light. Seek communities and connections that honor your transformation, rather than those who dwell in outdated perceptions. For light workers, healers, and spiritual coaches, personal shame is often the very thing that deepens our wisdom and compassion. Our own wounds make us more present, more empathetic, and more attuned to the struggles of those we seek to help. Shame can be transformed into a sacred tool of service. When we have walked through the fire of self-condemnation and emerged with self-love, we become a beacon for others still lost in the darkness. Our journey through shame grants us the authority to guide, not as someone untouched by struggle, but as one who has found the path through it. Rather than viewing past mistakes as burdens, light workers can see them as a transformative process through which they were refined. In healing ourselves, we become powerful vessels of healing for others. Shame, when approached spiritually, is not a life sentence, but a portal to awakening. It is an opportunity to integrate our shadow, embody compassion, and remember that we are at our core divine beings having a human experience. Through connection with our higher self, intentional self-forgiveness, and present moment integrity, we can step forward into relationships, choices, and risks with confidence, knowing that we are worthy of love, success, and joy, not despite our past, but because we have learned and grown through it. The soul's journey is not about erasing mistakes, but transforming them into wisdom. In this light, shame dissolves, and all that remains is the infinite love of the divine. I hope I've given you some valuable self-healing tools and perspectives. Thank you so much for joining me today. You can find more spiritually uplifting resources online at sensoriumhypnosis.com. Or if you're ready to do some deeper self-healing work, you can schedule a free consultation online. Thank you again for subscribing and sharing this podcast episode with someone else who may benefit. My light and love to all of you today. Until next time.